afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting and everything amazing Propagandacast. I'm your host, Imperial Dane, your master propaganda hero, psych defender of the fatherland, your lord and master, your only trusted source of anything. Off here to a 1 vs 1 on Faymonville Approach in the south. It's Tiramisu fighting for America, freedom, democracy. Taking on the role here of the 4th Armored Division, tasked with clearing out this series of farmhouses occupied by men of the 352nd Infantry Division under the command of FireandTerror, Storm Doctrine, Assault Support, and Jaeger Infantry available to him with infantry machine gun panzergrenadiers versus Tiramisu's double infantry and Dodge truck. Men of the 4th Armour setting out, they were rifling hot on the heels, straight into heavy cavalry there, so it indicates that Tiramisu might be up to something potentially involving a Pershing stall here. We'll have to see. Then again, most players would end up going for it, late. So, probably not actually. But might be, mines, sandbags, and of course, Rangers. Gonna use out here for FireandTerror. We'll have to see what he goes out for. There's not really a lot of the super common doctrine, except Jaeger Infantry, which has some usage. Assault Support is here and there, and Storm Doctrine is definitely on the rarer end of the spectrum. Important that being seized by the reaction, sandbags putting up here, so that's definitely why I went for the heavy cavalry immediately, so you can just take advantage of that ability, which is actually pretty good. I think some people tend to underestimate just how useful it is actually to be able to set up sandbags in an area where there's actually no good heavy cover. Having sandbags in such a spot is really good. MP4's up to cover the flank. FireandTerror here shows a bit of prescience and quickly pops down the rifle squad there, suppressing it immediately. Nice play there by FireandTerror of the 352nd Infantry Division, which was formed up to initially hold parts of the beach. In fact, they held Omaha Beach. The division itself, they're expected to be moved towards the eastern front, so they pretty much intensely trained for when they were supposed to move towards the eastern front. That never happened. Instead, they had to deal with the Americans on D-Day. Third round's gone away there for Tiramisu. Second Grenadiers got one was done there for FireandTerror. Pioneers got the southern fuel point there, but Tiramisu's all got fuel there. Second Grenadiers got there for FireandTerror, rather than being shot out by the MD-42 slowly suppressed. Pioneers taking man losses there from the rifle. Grenadiers popping in, the Pioneers also closing in here, deciding that it's better to push away the rifle rather than secure the fuel point. That is actually the best decision there. Looking to quickly win engagement, and also in this case actually drew the far away from the Grenadiers, allowing them to get more damage in while suffering minimal damage, which further allows them to then push onwards with the Grenadiers faster. So that's actually, a clever move there by FireandTerror. MD-42 covering up the centre. Southern point here is secured by Tiramisu's gone for a mortar as well to deal with the machine gun there early on. Good move there. We'll have to see how Tiramisu handles the mortar. Some players are pretty good with the mortar. Others tend to be a bit less secure about themselves in the mortaring business. But there you go. Third Grenadier squad here for FireandTerror. Definitely a one-way. Personally versus the Americans, I tend to prefer double MD-42 since usually anticipate my at least being, opponent being decent at flanking, in which case having the second MD-42 to cover up some other spots is good. Plus, it can allow to aggressively push a bit more, since you can free up one machine gun to cover, say, a vital spot, and then the other MD-42 can back up your infantry. But that's just me. Mortar opening up here. First shot fired there, didn't hit. No barrages yet, but there's not really in position with FireandTerror sort of heavily dug in. They're getting blasted from these repositioning just as another mortar round falls awfully close here. Grenadiers pushing northwards, rifle low on health, already being gunned down here by FireandTerror's Grenadiers. Rifle trying to push for the south, and in the further south part here, pushing for fuel point. We can see here that the FireandTerror's expecting exactly this move. Leaving the MD-42 there, freeing up his Grenadiers to push northwards, though of course this part is very open, and Tiramisu's going to sense this and of course quickly push for the MD-42. Reactions are wipe. That's actually pretty decent there for FireandTerror. Getting rid of a small unit in the early game can still have an impact there. Even if it's not, say, a high combat unit, it can still, prevent him from grabbing territory. But there you go. Machine gun pushed away. Southern fuel point now gained here for Tiramisu and the 4th Armoured. 352nd men moving here for the fuel, and now sweeping from north towards the south here. Swift movement there is certainly crucial. We got light mechanized company on the way there for FireandTerror. Tiramisu here is going for the captain. Can't move for some places, and now the company command post will become the more stable point. I mean, you basically get anti-tank guns, you get the captain gun upgrade with a bar, and you got the anti-aircraft charter, and you can sort of deal with a variety of threats. Plus, you got the pack out if you ever use it. Compared to the lieutenants, and also say the more aggressive one, you get 50 calibers, which of course will be used defensively, but you got the steward. On the other hand, you have less sort of solid anti-tank options. So, platoon command post is. Hang on, they misspelled that one. It's platoon command post. Has this always been like that? Platoon command post. Oh well. That's funny. Anyways, Captain out there from the company command post. Pioneers rushing in against the MG42. Grenadiers reinforcing healing. Shots being fired there, and we got Rifleman standing about. Almost got a weapon on the southern Rifleman there for Tiramisu. His men retreating back to the command post. We'll have to see what fire tag goes for. Cut the half tracks. Flamethrowers, of course, be useful. Pentagon needs to be good. And we got the 2-2, very standard choice there. Sandbags up here. Very thorough sandbagging there from Tiramisu. Pioneers on the fire here, using the sandbags that Tiramisu generously provided there, courtesy of the United States Army. Grenadiers moving up, noting no upgrades yet here for any of the FireandTerror's Grenadiers. But admittedly, Tiramisu has not been upgrading his rifle either with BARs, so less of a pressing concern. But even then, you know, light machine guns do add a lot to the Grenadiers unless you're planning Jaeger infantry and G43s. But there you go, 2-2 out for FireandTerror, supported from a nearby Panzer Division. Since an infantry division would not have the armoured cars available to it at all, its reconnaissance would have been provided by what was known as the Fusilier Battalion or Abteilung, which was sort of a 7th Infantry Battalion. There was sort of an amalgamation of some of the previous infantry battalions, but also the reconnaissance battalion. They had sort of was meant to act as both the division's elite, but also as the division's reconnaissance. So they were sort of a flexible unit that was usually better equipped than the rest of the unit. In fact, the 352nd Fusilier Battalion was actually heavily equipped with light machine guns, in fact having 2 per squad there, so that's sort of an indicator there of how generously equipped those chaps were. Little fun note there in terms of organisation. Half turning away there for Tiramisu. Going to need to fall back here. And the Fusiliers, I believe, would then, pretty much just, pair together with the Stutes, which sort of the best armoured element, the only armoured element in the division. So, fun notes there. These Pioneers moving about here. Bit of skirmishing up north. Riflemen then putting back the Grenadiere. In the south point there being secured. Grenadiers need reinforcement. Got a pack 40 on the way there for FireandTerror. The Panzerabwehrkanone 40. Still some light machine to be helpful for FireandTerror as Tiramisu swiftly seizing up. One thing I would note is that while he's good at sandbagging, Tiramisu's less keen on mines as of yet. 2-2 booming about. He's looking for targets. Easy prey. Hell, he could even try to sneak into his opponent's base, look for an ambulance and try to destroy it. Some players like to do that with their 2-2s. Those are definitely the sneaky type of players, and they can be very disruptive if they decide to do that. Rather than being flanked by the 2-2, taking some minor casualties here from the auto-cannon. Deep flank here by from Tiramisu, though lacking grenades and might be less effective. Or for that matter, weapon racks in forward coming in the centre. Mortar routed. You can see that Tiramisu's attack on the centre is running into some issues as FireandTerror pulled off his own sneaky tricks, and the machine gun in the house is also proving to be a bit of a hard point, which is going to need to immediately deal with using the mortar. In this case, smoking it out would be the best idea. They could call in doctrinal smoke to deal with it. Oh, snot biscuits. Grenadiers wiped, light machine gun drop. That's a big one. That's great there for Tiramisu. That is big there for FireandTerror in the early game, losing that Grenadiers. Plus the LMG-42 that was only just upgraded. He needs to retreat Rifleman though, because Tiramisu then losing the Rifleman with a light machine gun would be very silly. In fact, it looks like Tiramisu is going to exactly do that. Oh. No. By Jove, he managed. No. Does he? We got the half tick. There we go. Rifleman wipe. Tiramisu pushes like a bit too far. Had he retreated sooner, he probably could have preserved that rifle squad and also the light machine gun. Obviously, the important part is the Riflemen, since they are expensive to replace. In the sense that tends to be, shall we say, the Americans a bit of a weakness. They are very much reliant on the infantry. They are very strong, but due to the price point, they can be very hard to replace and get any wipes on early. They can actually deprive the Americans of a lot of momentum and steam. So, of course, as the Wehrmacht, one of your priorities is killing the bastards no matter what. Like, if you can get a wipe in the early game, you usually have a much better chance of finding in the late game as well, since the Americans, by design, are very much heavily snowballing. So if you sort of break up that snowball in the early game, at least rob it of momentum, you usually do yourself a huge favour. Pentagon is on the way there to help replace the losses. Very good. Also good versus Rifle, in particular non-upgraded ones. Weapon racks only for Tiramisu. And we got the Doctrine for Terror, and it is, well, FireandTerror, it's Storm Doctrine. Ambush camouflage, very good upgrade. Plus, of course, Regal Mine to be goes for the half-tech. Very good, solid as well there. Smoke bombs, howitzer, Stuka bombing strike. It's less used doctrine, but it's one that can be really good in the hands of a good player. Panzer Grenadier there, Gefechtsbereit. Possibly support from a Panzer Division. I suppose they could be representative of the troops working in the division. Maybe some Fusiliers, or maybe the divisional escort troops for the Stubes. Maybe. Don't know if that was before, normally before, after they were supposed to instruct units or divisions that had Stubes actually attach a small platoon, equipped preferably with assault rifles, to actually secure the Sturmgeschütz. Before that was only Stube brigades, which sort of had their own company of sort of assault rifle equipped troops to back up the Stubes. They're known as Begleittruppen or escort troops. Again, another little fun bit of information there in terms of organisation and tactics. Panzer's moving about here. Assault rifle finder noted by ambush camouflage. Again, very good on panzer grenadiers. If you can sort of time it correctly, they can do some absolutely horrendous damage, in particular with the veterancy bonuses. So if you sort of set it up so there's already each the right spot and then pop out ambush, they can quickly drop a model or two. And if your opponent isn't paying exact attention at that moment, you might even have a good chance of getting wiped. But right here, though, FireandTerror pushes too far, tries to get close to the BR rifleman, and the half nearby rather. Ooh. Looks like Lady Luck was on FireandTerror's side this time. Cap reinforcing, northern points are being secured. More pressure in the south would be a half bet here for Tiramisu, though the 2-2 is making it a bit harder for them. So far, though, Tiramisu might want to put less effort on the centre, more again from the south, hit the fuel point, hit the victory point, and there try and force FireandTerror to have, cover more territory. Back here, healing reinforcement and tech up. As for Tiramisu, no sign of anything there. We'll have to see what ends up for him. No Rangers though. I mean, Rangers would be pretty good here for Tiramisu. I mean, heavily equipped troops with submachine guns could very quickly overwhelm some of FireandTerror's units and wipe them out. So, I mean, that would be pretty solid there for Tiramisu. The south of your pioneers as the echelons, got a bazooka team up there for Tiramisu, ready to deal with any of FireandTerror's vehicles. And there you go, Pack 40 being assaulted. 2-2-2 down. FireandTerror taking heavy damage. Machine gun is surviving so far. Mortar, those looking, going to try and take it out. And there we go. Mortar close, but not quite. Grenadiers being overwhelmed. Pack down, definitely. Can't quite seize it though, but still getting rid of the veterans. He can still help slow down FireandTerror from getting a ace pack, which is really bad news for any tank. In particular, if Tiramisu is planning a Pershing, he does not want an ace pack against him. I mean, generally, if you've got any heavy tank, you do not want an ace anti-tank gun crew firing at it, though. Ace pack, ace sis, ace 6-pounder, ace M1, I mean, they'll generally go through a heavy tank very fast. But again, that does require that Tiramisu is planning a Pershing stall here. It would be a bit of a stranger one, although he can actually go for the anti-tank guns, but so far hasn't. FireandTerror with the support core, very good move there, doesn't try to stall for anything unnecessary there. Point there being seized, point there being seized. Nice breakthrough here versus FireandTerror, who's a bit on the defensive at the moment. It would be good here for Tiramisu to consider some mines. Ooh, wipe on the captain.
Just got a report of an infantry unit being wiped out.
Might be able to steal the bomb, we'll obviously be actually retreats in time, or if he tries to stick around longer than necessary like Tiramisu did. I do think this battle would be more in favour of Tiramisu had he not lost that rifle score with the light machine gun, since that would have been really bad news for FireandTerror. Right here, the machine pushing straight up to the rifle, trying to get past the MD-42 before it opens up on them, and successfully does so. Bad news there for FireandTerror's MD-42, that's going to be routed. We also got the mortars there supporting. Barraging as well, actually firing after the Panther Grenadiers who are very low on health. Noting by the way that Tiramisu's right now got both fuel points, but again, if he's stalling for the Pershing, he's not able to really take advantage of this, whereas FireandTerror is going to be able to push for a Panzer IV right about soon. So we'll have to see where that ends up. Back here, healing enforcement for Tiramisu. More BARs being handed out to his GIs. And there you go, Panzer IV for FireandTerror. Traveling from the north and getting the pioneers there and rapidly routing them. Half track engaging. Grenadiers being blasted and routed. FireandTerror now has very little control of the map. It's now mostly in the hands of Tiramisu. Question is, can Tiramisu actually fortify this and hold it up, or what will FireandTerror do for that matter? I mean, a good move now would be to strike northwards. And not immediately just try and attack Tiramisu into where he's strongest. Seems to be partly what he's doing here. But the Panther was going to give FireandTerror a good chance to push back against Tiramisu, since Tiramisu's got a pair of bazookas, that's it. And it's quite clear at this stage he is stalling for the Pershing, but he's doing it without the usual, you know, double anti-tank guns. I mean, sure, a pair of bazookas can help somewhat, but you kind of want, you know, anti-tank guns. Now, of course, the big question is FireandTerror picking up on this? I mean, he's seen the sandbags early on, so he also knows the opponent doesn't have infantry, so that pretty much means heavy cavalry only. He's seen nothing but infantry and light vehicles, and that's only one. So at this stage, FireandTerror probably should begin to get the idea that his opponent's stalling for a Pershing. It's going to be interesting to see what FireandTerror is going to be doing about that. Tiramisu flying manpower. Rangers could still be on the table here, but of course anti-tank guns at the moment would be the main priority. The loss of the cannon power means he can't just rush out the anti-tank guns, which is definitely unfortunate for him, but you know, nice for FireandTerror. There you go, bazooka team's on the job. First rocket pierces, second one misses. I think a bit around the whole way. Panthers in the south securing territory there. Noting the ambush camouflage. Machine gun setting up here, ambushed up as well. There they go, quickly doing some damage on the rifle to suppress them. Other squad moving ahead, gaining the ace level, and we see a full rout here from Tiramisu. Panther 1-4-2 combo, proving to be a fortress with which his men cannot break. At least not with their bodies. More pioneers there for FireandTerror to probably help repairs. Could also be planning in tier 4 there, which would be not advisable. Anti-tank is on the way for Tiramisu as he realises he cannot stall to the Pershing without at least one, and preferably he should probably consider two. Southern fuel point secured here by the Panzergrenadiere.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
Rifling for him in the northern point here. Another push here by Tiramisu. Got the half-tech rushing southward sea. Engaging the Panzergrenadiere out in the open. There we go, anti-tank gun on the way there. Could catch the Panzerfeuer with the anti-tank rocket grenade, damage an engine. I doubt he'll be able to take it out since it's going to be so far away for the anti-tank to catch up. And the reactions for that matter, probably not going to be enough unless it gets really lucky. I can't rule that out, but as you can see, they're FireandTerror. We need to move up troops to cover up the Panzerfeuer to ensure he doesn't just, you know, get rushed by, say, a pair of bazooka men. Oh, Tiramisu extends his welcome there once more. Losing another rifle squad. Tiramisu's unit preservation there is a bit on the awkward side there. Pushing his luck, I think, too far. Could even lose the reactions. It would be a definite blow there as well, on top of losing another rifle squad. That's definitely something that Tiramisu really needs to be mindful of. That's how far he just keeps extending his troops, and they're not considering, you know, well, do they have a chance of surviving that? North a bit of flank here, though. That's nice to see. They're going to lose a light machine guns and a bar are proving to be a bit of an obstacle here. The only way this could have been worse for Tiramisu is if they're equipped with ambush camouflage, in which case, again, the bar and the light machine gun on top of the high-level vengeance would have really been able to do some heavy damage to the riflemen. They really should consider some of those gun Bs as well. I mean, even the light machine gun Bs perform better with ambush camouflage. And the surprise move, we got FireandTerror here with a howitzer to just basically make Tiramisu's day miserable, or at least more miserable. Another one. Tiramisu's unit preservation once more is a bit lacking here in the face of FireandTerror's drilled expert troops. And there you go, bar secured on the Panzergrenadiers as well. Ace machine gun crew up in the resistance, doing a bit of damage there, more to try and silence it. And we got Tilify here, trying to silence Tiramisu's little artillery piece there. But not quite hitting the mark, fortunately for Tiramisu. At this stage he really needs more infantry. Rangers would be a decent idea. He's also not far off from the M26 Pershing heavy tank. His infantry preservation has been with a few issues. That's only making things easy here for FireandTerror until the Pershing hits. once it hits, so that's going to be more interesting here in terms of how FireandTerror will handle that. Rifling up, half-tech backing up as well, pack 40 there, veterans who won. Pack lands a shot awfully close to the half-tech, but the half-tech does escape. Thompson's halfway down there for Tiramisu's Rangers. Sturmgeschützen there for FireandTerror. Much better choice was the Pershing than the Panzer IV. Of course, up to your handlers. Rangers charging across on ground across negative cover. In fact, losing one of the members. Bit of a reckless assault there, to be honest, by Tiramisu. Again, his infantry preservation has a few flaws in it, but he does finally call in the M26 Pershing heavy tank. Now is the time to show those Nazis who makes the best tanks. At least hopefully make the best tanks. Archer firing away again, hoping to silence a few American lives. This time still the mortar. FireandTerror is definitely not happy about that one. There, go up north, Pine is about to encounter the Trent 26 Pershing. First shot misses spectacularly. Pershing continues the advance. There you go, kills poor Fritz. Half-tech good to go. Pushing up northwards here. Almost got the Pioneers there. 2 kills on the Pershing. Gonna be bunching up right close to the Pershing. Misses though. That's pretty lucky there for FireandTerror. That could have gotten a lot uglier. It still could. There you go, Panzer's moving up. Veteran 2 BAR blazing away at the Yankees. Anti-tanker needs to set up soon, but can't easily with all the infantry pushing ahead here. Half-tech moving up to support. Panzer going to suffer a minor loss. Bazookas blazing away, anti-tank setting up. Got the Stroop moving ahead. You need to be careful there. Straight to the anti-tank gun. And the bazookas going to be in the open, getting plastered with 19mm high explosive shells. Pershing misses that. It's definitely a rather unlucky Pershing in terms of accuracy. Some pretty poor rolls. Half track there, slowly approaching the ace level. Troops are healing and forcing. Rangers close to veterans U1. And there you go, MD42 being swarmed here by the half-tech and the Pershing. Heavy damage inflicted, half-tech against the ace level. Could see what we got following up. There we go, the ace machine crews down here. A blow to FireandTerror, but the Pershing taking heavy hits from the pack and the Sturmgeschütz. Tiramisu definitely needs more infantry. He is taking up, let's bring up armor to back up the Pershing. That's definitely a good move. But rounds they're firing on the Sturmgeschütz from the anti-tank gun. Could take it down here if he's not careful. There we go, veterans 1. Take aim, increases the line of sight and the range, and he gets the stooped FireandTerror there too slow to get out of the line of fire of the M1 anti-tank, and Tiramisu was actually able to punish him for that. Very good there by Tiramisu. Those infantry preservation still leaves a lot to be desired. Rangers moving out, halfway they're still to back up. Troops in reinforcing. He still seems to aiming to take out the mortar there. And machine gun recruits straight into the line of fire of the Pershing. Getting obliterated there. Mortar still not retreating. Don't think he's realising it's under fire from the mortar. And there you go. Joe blown apart. Troops in reinforcing. Sturmgeschützen them to almost done there for FireandTerror. Almost wiped the Panzer Grenadiers. Bazooka find the Panzer almost felt the bounce. Direct hit from the Pershing on the Panzer IV. There you go, rockets penetrate Panzer IV, lands a nice hit. They're taking the Panzer IV down to less than half health. In fact, could be taken out by a next hit from the Pershing. Rather than need to retreat. Oh dear, yeah, Tiramisu this time he's realised in time he has to get them out. And they're going for more riflemen. Not an attempt at saying more Rangers. Getting victory points, Pershing moving ahead here, 13 kills, close to veterans 1, needs to be careful about moving ahead alone. Directed on the pack 40, gaining victory to their good target weak point. Bad news to the Pershing. And a direct hit there. My god, Jürgen, you really know how to hit those weak points. The American tanks, everything is a weak point. I'm pretty convinced the Americans have not learned how to make a tank that actually works. Rangers sitting back in the south, down the centre victory point. Got all the abilities popped up just in case that FireandTerror follows from the armoured assault. Perhaps a bit premature this time around though. Not necessarily a bad idea. Pershing being fixed up. More reactions at this stage would be a good idea there for Tiramisu to help speed up the Pershing repairs, since he's right now incredibly dependent on the Pershing to do most of the heavy lifting. So for it to be in out for some time for repairs is not necessarily very good here for Tiramisu. And there you go. Panther 4 racing into the base, going for the ambulance. A base rape, but there you go. Misses the ambulance. And goes down to the anti-tank and Pershing combo. Stu moving out there. FireandTerror needs to be careful he doesn't end up giving a Tiramisu an advantage. Stu down to less than half health in face of the Pershing. Doesn't have the mission for the H-Wrap round. Almost got the Pershing now. Anti-tank is sitting up. Should be able to take out the Stu. And the Stu goes down. A huge blow here to FireandTerror. All of his armor gone. We thought he saw victory. Instead, he saw a really big wall he ran into. Wrap them all to that's a small victory, but still losing his Stu and his Panzer IV represents a significant loss here for FireandTerror and the 352nd Infantry Division. Not entirely sure he was playing there with a half track, but he gets it blown apart. Could have been a misclick though here. We got Rangers flanking up behind though. Grenade here would be pretty good. Sadly doesn't quite pop it up. His stick is sword apart here, but they're going to use with the light machine guns. Artillery firing down here. Straight to the base. Directed here on the barracks. It's only the platoon command post that gets written like that. Sherman on the way there. Need to be careful with the Pershing there. Particularly the echelons. If he loses those, it's going to get a lot more uncomfortable for Tiramisu in terms of fixing the Pershing there. Pioneer's been pushed off the southern fuel point. In this regard, Tiramisu does have the fuel edge. And their forces are roughly the same size. But there you go. Pershing almost good to go. Troops are healing and forcing by the ambulance. Oh, close one. $15 kills, 2 there. Bit of scrummaging by the southern fuel point. Probably the Pershing needs to be next. We can see that FireandTerror is exactly predicting this. Keeping the Pack 40 ready. Howitzer here with 5 kills. Veterans you won. Got that Pershing on the move here for Tiramisu, for freedom, democracy. Straight shot there, the MD-42 misses spectacularly, trying to pass through here. We got top of Pack 40s here. Cut through it to tear apart the Pershing here fast here. Then you can realise veteran fee on the Pack. Oh, stopped up. Needs to call in smoke on it. Grenade off here, but he's not moving fast enough. He's stopping up in front of the Pack 40 again. He's underestimating the Pack 40 here. And loses the Pershing. I mean, remember, Ace Pack 40s and most Ace anti-tank guns are absolute killers of armor. That was quite a blow there to Tiramisu. Lost his veteran 2 Pershing without really doing any serious damage. I mean, he shouldn't be rushing in there alone, unsupported, and now proceeds to do the same here with the Sherman. He might have a chance of taking out the Pack crew, but I would say at this stage, I don't think that's a very good price he paid for it. Some of these almost being taken out by the Sherman. Rifle flying up here, crashing FireandTerror's center positions. Almost got the MD-42 here though. So we're running down to Pi, I think, trying to prevent him from grabbing the packs. Sherman needs to be fixed up, and if you can somehow take out the houses, that'd be great. Rather than retreat, immediately got Panzer moving up. They're gonna get a wipe. They're gonna get a wipe. Ace Panzer gonna deal with the BAR, and no, Johnny makes it. Direct mortar hit on the Rangers. So the victory point being seized. Panzer going to deal. Pioneers moving ahead here. FireandTerror can soon go for another Panther 4 though. Tiramisu theoretically not far off from another Sherman. There you go. Direct artillery hit here. I believe from the Major's artillery takes out the Pack crew. Reactions are obliterated by direct hit here. Anti-tank gun shattering FireandTerror's Pack 40. The carnage continues. Sturmgeschütz on the way for FireandTerror and the 352nd Infantry Division, which had 13 Stuks in its tank destroyer company. Fun fact. Stuks were company, substituted for tank destroyers if they couldn't get them. and was generally just increasingly used as whatever they could. I mean, the Panzer Division, for example, that received Stugs instead of Panzers because they didn't have enough Panzer Force. For example, the 10th SS. Fundsberg, for example, having the 7th, 8th companies were actually Stug companies rather than Panzer IV companies. One note. Smoke bombs off your fire tower around the centre victory point to screen it off. Not bad. Tiramisu not far from another Sherman. And his other Sherman is still getting repairs. How taking a barrage here. Oh, could he be bombarding the base here? Bason's joining in the repairs. Need a grenade here, there we go. On the MD-42 a bit too late. And a direct hit on the ambulance from the howitzer. Rifleman almost annihilated as well. This is brutal stuff here for Tiramisu. And someone trying to get away. I'm not entirely sure who got obliterated on top of that. I believe that was one of the Major's aides. Sherman good to go, but the artillery does not. Oh, the Rangers got wiped in retreat as well almost. Only one survivor who just has to pass through the remnants of his comrades as they were torn apart in front of his very eyes. 18 kills here, veterans on that howitzer. Another ambulance quickly out there for Tiramisu to replace the one the Nazis blew apart. That howitzer strike has really, I think, done a lot there for FireandTerror. Oh, she was actually looking at a pretty weak spot, but that barrage just tore apart Tiramisu. Sherman closing in on veteran 2-1. Here we got 266 versus 220. I mean, pretty much all of Tiramisu's troops had to reinforce in some cases again after that barrage. Plus, he had to replace the ambulance, so that's a lot of resources and a lot of non-movement from Tiramisu, allowing FireandTerror to quickly move up to the front line and secure it. So that howitzer really pays off. Oh, snot biscuits! Hit a mine, a telemine with the Sherman. That could be a really bad thing here for Tiramisu. Sturmgeschütz on the way. They're pretty risky for FireandTerror, but there you go, direct hit. Anti-tank in there. I need to attack ground maybe. No. Tries to hit it. Artillery fire the rain down with this anti-tank gun. Stu's being pushed back. Anti-tank and crew annihilated by the howitzer. 21 kills. Halfway to victory. We got Pentagon Leaders hunting out here. 8 and there you go. Unleashing the ambush on the rifle. The numbers are quickly going to get cut down. And the howitzer took out the Sherman. Devastating blows here to Tiramisu. That howitzer has very much proven to be a big hit here for FireandTerror in more than one way. Oh no!
We lost an infantry unit. They got wiped out.
Did the Fuhrer himself personally bless this howitzer?
Up to 200.
I think he's just been tearing apart Tiramisu. MD4 to the closing eventually too. But with those losses, thanks to that howitzer, Tiramisu's chances of winning this pretty much just hit rock bottom. I mean, at least feels like that. So there you go, GG, game over. In large part, this fight to the degree I think was won by the howitzer, but also I would say Tiramisu's early to mid-game infantry preservation really was lacking. He threw away a lot of good infantry that could have been saved, in particular the rifleman with the LMG-42 he just snatched there, what I think was a critical blow there for Tiramisu, ensuring he couldn't really build up an advantage versus FireandTerror, ensuring FireandTerror could mostly, build up his own armoured force and slowly push back. But even then, Tiramisu was close at times. But his unit preservation, and he just keeps at times just overextending without any sort of backup plan or anything like that, and he just gets his unit killed, and then FireandTerror slowly pushes ahead and takes advantage of that, and then turns the game around very slowly but aggressively with a howitzer. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. Hope it gives you different matches. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment. Tell your friends, tell your family, but not your enemies. And if you like what I do, you can donate or pledge on Patreon. Links are in the video description. This is Pro Linking. Cheers. Thank you all for watching. You're all a wonderful audience. And hope to see you all tomorrow again for another Sunday episode. Bye.